Good morning, everyone. My name is Martin with the Conyers office, filling in for Nancy today. I just want to bring you Scott, introduce Scott with Ribbon, who's going to kind of go over their services and also what they do and how they can potentially partner with you guys to help your buyers. So, Scott?
Perfect. Thank you all so much for having me today. I love the virtual, and I'm definitely more of an in-person.
No, you're good. Camera's right there. Sorry. Yep. That's cool.
Definitely more of an in-person, but you know, I just wanted to come here and really, from what I'm hearing, it sounds like y'all know of Ribbon, have kind of an understanding of Ribbon, and so my goal today is to talk to y'all as an agent. So I am an agent. I was an agent for years, producing agent in the Atlanta market. I actually opened and started a brokerage back in 2017, sold the brokerage last year. So we actually utilize Ribbon and kind of, you know, they call us a power buyer, which to me kind of puts us in a box, but the industry has to name something for it. But so I've actually utilized the product not only as an agent, but also running my team of agents that I had utilizing it. And you know, we used it in a more neutral market. We used it in markets that were crazy, like we've seen the last 2 years, right? Multiple offers. And so what I kind of wanted to do today was just talk about, you know, what is it that we do? I look at us as kind of having 4 values. So 4 different ways to utilize Ribbon. So it's not a sales pitch. I'm not here to convince you, beg you. I'm just here to kind of put some information in your toolkit. You know, one of the most interesting things is there's 3 styles of companies like us out here kind of in the world, in the United States today. The first one is what I call more of a closed ecosystem. So they are basically going directly to the consumer, and they're offering things like, hey, be more competitive on an offer by having cash. Buy before you sell, right? I don't know. Anybody that's been in the industry a long time, buy before you sell is a huge deal. I never went on a listing presentation where a client didn't want to buy before they sold. They just couldn't most of the time. And so companies are going out to the consumer and saying, hey, we can do all of this. But then once they get them, they bring them into what I call their closed ecosystem, because they've got salaried agents. They've got, I'm all over the United States, so I keep using the word title, even though I know closing attorneys here, but they've got closing attorneys, title companies they own mortgage, insurance. Basically, they're just taking everything they can, but doing it under the value proposition of cash offers, buy before you sell. And the consumers come to them, and as soon as the consumer comes to them, it's closed. It's not coming back to any of us. The next style of company that's like us is what I call semi-open. So these are mortgage companies that are getting in this space. It's hilarious. I'd say in the last 4 months, about 20 new power buyers have popped up inside the mortgage world. I mean, they're about 2 years late. Like they should have been doing this 2 years ago when the need for that was through the roof. But the interesting thing is that they're doing it to get the mortgage. But they're open to work with agents, right? So as agents, I like it. But I don't like the fact that I got to use their mortgage company, because I had my mortgage people that I like to use. I had my own closed ecosystem as an agent. We are the only ones in the space that are totally open. And so Ribbon, which was founded, we don't want to go after the consumer. We think the real estate agent is the most critical piece of this. And again, I'm an agent, so I love that. And the more disruption I see in our industry, the more I know agents need to be front and center, because consumers are more confused than ever, right? Instant offers on their houses, power buying, like all these options are out there. And so we're totally open. We're not a mortgage company. We're not agents. We're not closing attorney, title companies, and we're nothing. Oh, well, we're not nothing. That's the worst sales pitch ever, right? What we are is cash and certainty in a real estate transaction. And so that's what Ribbon does. And I tell people all the time, I go all over the United States. So I came to Ribbon in January because I truly was passionate about what they were trying to do, but I also understood that most agents didn't understand. I threw a stat out. I was in Florida last week talking to a group, and did y'all know there's 3 real estate agents for every 1 house for sale in the United States right now? Crazy, right? 3 out of 3 agents for every 1 house. And so what I try to do is teach agents how to come play in a little bit of a different space over here, because you're not competing with 2 million agents that understand power buying. Trust me, most agents don't understand it. They're not educating themselves on these new products, but the consumer likes it. And so one of the toughest things with Ribbon that I tell people all the time is we're a sometimes product. And as agents, we hate sometimes products. Like we want it like, nope, it's either always or it's never. But we are a sometimes product. We solve problems. So 4 things that I really want to get across today. And then I'm going to talk about the fees, and I'm going to actually work us through a perfect deal. And then I'm open for questions, however that looks. But that's my goal today. So if I'm meeting with a buyer or a seller, doesn't matter, right? As agents, most of us do both, right? So if I'm meeting with a buyer or a seller, I'm going to start on kind of the buy side. The first value proposition for a buyer is just getting them under contract. Now, would y'all agree in the last 2 years that was pretty critical, right? I mean, have we not seen the most extreme, crazy seller's market the world has ever seen? I mean, multiple offers. 1 in 3 homes purchased last month in Atlanta was purchased by a hedge fund. So the hedge funds are making the limited inventory even more competitive. Like in Atlanta, we're worse than the United States is 20% investor-owned homes. We're 1 in 3. 70% of the homes last month in Atlanta was either cash or cash backed. Okay, so we're on the cash back side. Ribbon made up 4.5% of the Atlanta deals last month. So people were really flocking to us to give their, instead of a FHA, VA, conventional buyer having a 1 in 10 shot of getting a home, we were giving them about a 1 in 3 shot of getting a home, right? And as agents, our time is one of the most important resources we have. So am I going to go show you 10 houses to get you one, or am I going to show you 3 houses to get you one, right? It's just kind of a numbers game. So that was easy. Most of the agents kind of flocked to us because they're like, well, wait a minute. My buyer's frustrated. Can't find a house for them. They're freaking out. I need something to make them more competitive. And so we became that rich uncle to make every buyer competitive, right? So when a buyer would come to me and they'd say, hey, Scott, man, I'm pre-approved. I'm going to put down 3.5% on FHA. I'm looking for a $300,000 home. For the last 2 years, my heart dropped as an agent, right? I mean, let's be honest. We want to help you, but we know what we're up against. And so I can take that FHA, VA, conventional, and make them cash. And the cool thing in Georgia is our contracts are much better than a lot of other state contracts because we have a thing called a cash exhibit. And so we just include the cash exhibit on our offer. We check the box that says can get institutional funds, and we add the Ribbon addendum. And all of a sudden now we're making a cash-backed offer with no finance, no appraisal contingency. So the number one value for us, and it's been utilized often, and it still is. I see every deal that comes through. It's still being used. It's just getting people under contract. The second value for Ribbon. So think about us in a market that's starting to like neutralize just a little bit, right? And I'm going to tell you all, 2 month and 3 month of inventory market is going to feel neutral, even though 6 months is neutral. It's going to feel neutral because it's been so wild, right? The next one is cash king, right? I mean, I'm a listing agent. I've said it before, like, well, it's all cash at the closing table, but that's not really true, right? Like, don't we have to get through that ugly finance contingency and that ugly appraisal contingency? And I don't know about y'all, but I have stayed up late at night trying to piece together an appraisal gap. How exciting is that, right? We're $20,000 apart. The seller's saying no chance. The buyer's saying I don't have the 20 grand. And as an agent, we're trying to figure out how do we bridge that gap, right? And so if I can come in and make an appraisal backed offer. So like Ribbon is the only one playing in the appraisal space. And we're kind of nuts for doing it because appraisals can be pretty subjective at times, right? But we will literally give you a number and back it, and we are guaranteeing that home appraises at that number. I'm going to explain that when we walk through the deal. So if I'm an agent and I've got a buyer, I could go out here and say, look, I'm going to make you an offer instead of $500,000 with 7 days of due diligence and 14-day finance and 14-day appraisal contingency. I'll make you an offer of $493 with $7,000 seller paid closing costs, no contingencies outside of a 7-day inspection, guaranteed to close at day 8. Sellers want certainty. Why do y'all think, and there's not a lot, but why do you think sellers take an iBuyer offer? What do they want? They wanted certainty. They wanted to know that that house was going to sell. So I could utilize Ribbon to get a better deal for my buyer. So second way to use us. The third way to use us is buy before you sell. And again, buy before you sell hadn't been big the last 2 months because it was kind of like, okay, we'll go kind of shop, get it under contract, get your house on the market super fast. You'll sell it. Hopefully it'll all work out. But we're moving into a place where buy before you sell is going to be super critical. And if you've got a buyer that's sitting here and you're sending them houses via FMLS or your CRM or your whatever you're using, and you're sending them houses every day, and they're sitting in their $350,000 house, but they're ready to move to their $500,000 house, and you're sending them houses, there's a piece of them that's kind of like, okay, if I find my dream house, like I don't want to sell my house because I'll be homeless, right? But if I find my dream house, then like I still have to go through all these steps, and I'm going to have to then get my house sold on time, right? We're lining up the dominoes. But if you tell them, hey, listen, I've got this program in my back pocket where you can go buy that new dream house with cash right now. You can close in 14 days. Your dream house pops up, boom, cash offer, 14-day close. You buy it, you move in. You do have to pay us rent. So you do have to pay us rent as soon as you move in. And now you can take your time selling your house. Well, when you think about that, first off, that's convenient. Like I'm not uber wealthy, but I've heard the wealthy people have been getting to do this their whole life, and it's kind of not fair, right? And so this opens it up to more people because it is convenient, right? The other thing is that not only is it convenient, but it actually could be financially advantageous. The market, even though we've slowed some, is still appreciating. I mean, there's still not enough inventory for the amount of buyers out there. And so when that happens, supply and demand kicks in and the market's still appreciating. And so to lock in a buy at today's price and sell into the future is a lot smarter than selling at today's price and buying into the future. So we're just reversing that when you think about it. So again, this is why it's a sometimes product. You got the local data. You know the neighborhood. You know if it's appreciating or not. Like, and again, we can't predict tomorrow, but man, the past tells us a lot about tomorrow, right? I mean, it really does. So not only could it be convenient, but it actually could be. To be honest with you, last year, anybody that on average, if you bought before you sold, you made money if you waited 30 days to put your house on the market. And it was because of how quickly the homes were appreciated. We're not going to see that appreciation again, but buy before you sell. It's huge. The fourth way, and nobody talks about this, and I think it's crazy. And maybe it's because I'm a listing agent, and that's why I think this way. Utilize it on the listing side. So think about this. You've got your seller. On a normal deal, I used to laugh. My sellers would say to me, hey, Scott, we're under contract. When can I move? I hate that question because the answer is, well, technically you can move when you're hugging in the parking lot and I'm handing you your little gift for being my client. But the problem was they had to be out before that, right? Because there's no guarantees as a seller, right? I mean, they get their due diligence period. They get their inspection time. They get their finance contingency. They get their appraisal contingency. And man, on the listing side, we're on eggshells the whole time. We're just playing defense. We're just waiting, right? And then all of a sudden, then you still got the walkthrough. And you have people who even on the last day could walk. Anybody show up at a closing table with no buyers on the other side? It's not fun, right? Deal's dead. Now, yes, your seller can keep the earnest money, but that's really not what they sold their house. That's not what they put their house on the market for earnest money. They put their house on the market because they wanted to move. And so you can, on the listing side, explain to your seller, and I would do this every day if I was still in production. I would say, hey, just so you know, we got a 1 in 3 chance to get a cash offer in your house because that's what's happening in Atlanta right now. If we get a financed offer, I can make it cash by pushing them to run it through Ribbon. And I can remove the appraisal and finance contingency. How does that sound to you, seller? So I was going to be like, yeah. So you actually on the listing side could say, look, thanks for your conventional offer, but my client wants more guarantees than that. Not many people are explaining to the seller. And so when I laugh, when they call us a power buyer, we're not a power buyer. We're a seller. And most people really and truly, because they utilized us to go under contract, and Mike Del Prete came up with the word power buying, they all put us into this power buying box. But we're
really quick. I'm sorry to interrupt. This is Ming Richardson from the West Georgia office.
Yep.
I do know that you guys charge 1% fee if the buyer is able to close with their lender prior to closing, and then it's 2.4% if they had to rent back to you guys. And I'm assuming all that stuff is being disclosed when
yes.
y'all have so the buyer is fully aware of that issue. And I also know in the past, I've seen where you guys actually take on about up to $40,000 of the appraisal gap, which is fabulous for the buyer. And I'm sure you have algorithm in your end to let everybody know what the maximum price that you guys are willing to guarantee. With that all said, now, what is some of the exceptions that Ribbon may have where Ribbon cannot proceed with a loan? The reason I asked, I had one come up this week, and that was the only exception I have heard.
Yeah. So basically with us, I mean, we are going to, and this will flow right into a deal, but I'll answer the question first and I'll flow right into the deal. So what we require is a 7-day inspection period, either due diligence or right to inspect. And that, so we require that. We require to see the inspection report uploaded. And we've got on our website, so ribbonhome.com, on our website, we've got everything that the inspector, that we're looking for on an inspection report, that we would say, we're not going to jump out of the deal, but we're going to say buyer or seller, somebody needs to take care of these types of repairs. If neither side can come together and take care of those repairs, then we would pull out of the deal with the buyer at that point. So we do require a 7-day inspection period.
Now, do you also work with DPA program? Because that was a kicker for me this week. We have one with a Ribbon offer, but the buyer is actually using Atlanta Authority as a DPA. And midstream of all this, after due diligence, we were informed by Ribbon that you guys do not play with DPA.
I don't know. I'd have to look at, I'd love for you to, I'll give you my information and send it to me so I can look into that. So yeah, I have not heard that before. So.
Yeah, because I was really surprised because the buyer was fully qualified and it just the process going to the DPA. And so inspection came out, appraisal was fine, everything was fine. And in the midstream, we were told that Ribbon does not work DPA. So I just want some clarification on that. And for those of you, we will put in our newsletter next week once I get an answer from you. Okay?
Yes, that's perfect.
So I just wasn't sure what the questions are.
Yeah, I'll need to get your information before I get done today, so I can follow up on that.
Well, I think you guys' program is fabulous, honestly. It gives a buyer an edge for purchasing and a seller an edge of a guaranteed product once the due diligence period is over. That's the kicker, y'all, the due diligence period. So aside from that, I thank you so much for the information. I love Ribbon. We actually have multiple offers much higher than Ribbon's, but we took yours on the last contract simply because the seller wants a guarantee.
Very nice. Well, I appreciate that for sure. That's what we're trying to do. So I'm going to walk through just a quick deal, and then I'll be here for questions and let y'all get on with your meeting.
Okay. Yep.
Okay. So the way a standard deal works with us is everybody, every agent, every lender that works in our platform has got to have a Ribbon account. The Ribbon accounts are free. So the first thing anybody needs to do to start working with us is, go to ribbonhome.com, sign up and get an account with us. We assign a Ribbon advisor to everybody that gets an account. So they're there to kind of walk through the individual deals and the individual questions. Once you have an account, you can upload your buyers. So if I'm working with a buyer, I go in here and I upload my buyer. We buy between 100,000 to $1 million. That's price of the home, not loan amount. Okay, so that's our buy box. We can only help on homes between 100,000 to $1 million. I upload my buyer, and then I upload my pre-approval. So I go to my lender, I get the pre-approval from my lender, and so let's say in this scenario, the lender pre-approves them for $500,000. That pre-approval will come into my Ribbon account, and then we will grant them cash. So they are backed now by $500,000 cash because of that pre-approval. It takes us about 24 hours. If we've never talked to a lender before, we're going to reach out and have conversations. But as we work with lenders more and more, we start to build relationships and understand their pre-approval process. Once that is approved, you now have a cash buyer. Okay. And again, you don't have to use it. It's just sitting there ready to be used if you need it. The next step is we have to value the property. This is the trickiest thing that we do. So you add, I'm going to go see 123 Main Street, and it's listed at $475,000. And you add that property into our portal, and inside of 24 hours, we're going to put 3 values on that property. Value 1 is rent. 70% of the time with Ribbon, we do not buy the house, and rent does not get collected. But we still need to have that up front so everybody's got all the information. No surprises in our program, right? Should never be surprises. So here's your rent number. Second number you're going to get is what's called the Ribbon value. So we're going to put a value on it, and it's like a desktop appraiser. So we have appraisers that work for us. They're looking in the MLS. We have access to the MLS. They're used in several different ways, but they're going to put a Ribbon value out there that they're comfortable backing, which means if you write the offer up to that number and it goes under contract and it does not appraise for that number, Ribbon is on the hook for the difference. So let's say the home was listed at 475 and our first number we give you is 475. Let's say that you're able to get that house for 475. If that home does not appraise for $475,000, Ribbon has to cover the difference. So the way it works is this: if that home appraises for 450, and we said no, we were good for 475, and it appraises for 450, the seller has to drop the price to 450, and then we, at closing, give the seller $25,000. It's our appraisal guarantee. I will promise y'all, we get it right more than we get it wrong, or we lose a lot of money, right? Every time I'm doing a presentation like this, I hear people go, wait a minute. You only made $4,200, you cut a check for $25,000. How can y'all stay in business? Majority of the time we get it right, but sometimes we don't. And we back it because that appraisal protection for us is huge. Okay? So at 475, you're 100% back. There's going to be no fighting about an appraisal. We're going to give you a second number. The second number is called Cash Plus. So as the market heated up, Ribbon said, okay, what else could we do to try to help people be more? Because we'd come in at 475 and people go, oh, I can't use your program because I need to go to 485 to get the house. So we came out with a program called Cash Plus. Cash Plus allows you to go to our second number. So if we're at 475 and 485, as an agent, I want y'all to try to get it for 475. But if you're If it's 480 and that's what it's going to take to get it done, and your buyer's looking at you saying, I need this house, I need options, what can I do? I have to buy this thing, then we allow you to go to 485 and be semi-protected. Here's what semi-protected means. If you need to go to 45 to get that house under contract, now we're talking $10,000. That's called our cash plus. Your buyer can either buy an insurance policy with us for 25 cents on the dollar, non-refundable. Okay, so they could say, here's 2,500 extra dollars. I am now backed at 485. If it appraises at 485, we still keep the $2,500. That's why it's called an insurance policy. Okay, if it doesn't appraise at 485, let's say it appraises at 475, we have to cover that $10,000 gap, and they pay $2,500 and we pay $7,500. Okay, my goal as the market starts to kind of come back to common sense here a little bit is that we're not playing in this space, but it's just an option. To me, it confuses things. I'll just be honest with you, but it's an option. Yep. Second thing is you could do pay later. So on the pay later option, you could just cover the gap yourself to go to that number, or you could end up paying us back on that. So standard.
All right, we got it. I hate to cut it off, but we got a lot of stuff to cover on our sales meeting. I need to kind of go over the fees because that's where we're at right now. So we got to get this show on the road.
Perfect. 2.4% earnest money that you put down on the deal when you write an offer. It's 2.4%. It could be a combination of earnest money or seller paid closing costs, but it's got to be 2.4%. Okay, so that's the fee. Write the contract. Contract goes binding, get past the inspection, we're clear to close. The only question is who's closing, buyer or Ribbon, okay, at this point. So if the buyer closes with their own funds, their own mortgage, we collect a 1% fee. So of that 2.4%, 1% comes back to Ribbon as a fee, 1.4% gets credited back to the buyer. That's called our Ribbon Boost program. The Ribbon Reserve program is when we buy the house. So in that same scenario, either buy before you sell or they just couldn't close on time, we step in, we collect the whole 2.4% fee, we pay our own closing costs. That's why the fee goes up. So we pay our own closing costs, 2.4%, we collect, they move in, they rent, they have 6 months to buy the house back from us, and they buy it back for the same price we paid for it. So 2 fees, 2.4% if we buy it, 1% if they buy it. Sound good?
Thank you. And contact information?
Yes. So
Just give it out. I'll post it after.
You'll post it? Okay.
Yeah, but you can say it.
Okay. Yeah. So Scott Martineau, my cell phone number is 678-780-0219. That's me directly. With any questions, my email is scott.martineau, which is MARTINEAU @ribbonhome.com. Our website, ribbonhome.com resource tab, has so many valuable tools and information for y'all as well. So
Great.
thank y'all so much for having me, and I'm sorry I was long-winded.
No, please. Thank you so much for all the information. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, great. So I just want to cover some quick compliance updates, or actually some closing updates for June 2022. We had, for the brokerage, we had 78 closings, a total of 36 million in total value, so sales volume. So congratulations to all the agents who had closings last month. This month so far, we have 12 closings. We have about 18 pending at about 4 million. Also here in Conyers on Thursday, we have training, making money with real estate investing. So if you're interested in investing in real estate, we have a class here on Thursday as well. And that's all I have for today. So thank you again, Scott. We appreciate it. And I'll pass it off to Wordsworth.
Probably not getting Wordsworth right now. They're having technical difficulties there. So
okay.
Let's move on here.
Hey,
Hey everybody, Melissa in McDonough Branch. For those who know me or hear from me, phone calls or emails, thank you for being patient. We've done a lot of auditing on agent files, me and myself, and they're very time consuming, but thank you for everybody who I have reached out to that has reached back out to me. We have a lot going on in McDonough, a lot of new agents. Thank you for the new agents participating, coming into the meetings, and we actually have a class next week here, just listed on Tuesday. If you haven't signed up, sign up. It will be a good class. I think that's about all I have for McDonough. Mackenzie. Mackenzie's not in the room, so we may want to skip to the next.
It's me. Hi, guys.
Good morning.
Hi. Hi, airport agents and all the agents in the other offices. So I wanted to start off by saying welcome to the new people that are here, new agents. We love you guys. So I just sent out a newsletter yesterday. So I know some people have been like not receiving it, or they say they haven't received it. Please check your spam to make sure that you guys are getting the newsletter, because it has the events, the CE events, even after our events that may be happening at the different offices, and things that are outside the office. Even the real estate backstory, everything that's going on in the market for real estate, like that's some good, valuable information that, you guys might need. So just make sure you get that. It should be labeled Maximum One newsletter. So also, if you don't mind, leave a review, a Google review for the airport office. We appreciate it. We need that. We need that. Okay. Anyway, I would love that if you guys left a review. Also, I am doing KV Core, and I'm still doing the Tech Thursday videos. So if anybody is still kind of confused with KV Core, I'm also doing a 15 to 30 minute, like if anyone wants to do a one-on-one, I'm doing one-on-one sessions, and we can schedule that, and I can work around your schedule, you can work around my schedule, and then we can kind of get you guys on board with KV Core if y'all are still confused with that. Also, I do encourage the agents to come together, do some accountability sessions with each other with KV Core, or anything that's that you might be confused with. Like, there's no better tool than using like your neighbor and coming together and learning from one another. We do have a CE class here at Airport coming up July the 20th, and it's marketing. So marketing for agents, that's going to be good. And that is it for the airport. Thank you guys. Yeah, bye.
Up next. Oh. All right, West Georgia, give it up. All right, y'all. Thank you very much. So I'm out of the loop, but I do want to see the agents here in West Georgia. So we currently are trying to utilize Taylor to help you guys to really get plugged in and pay forward. Now she teaches Tech Thursday every Thursday, so please follow her. Don't make her feel so lonely out there, y'all. We do Zoom, and she will answer, but I promise you that KV4 will give you so much more leads than you have to pay for. If you can just develop that relationship. If you look at the iBuyers right now and all these folks, at the end of the day, these iBuyers are self-serving, okay?
Hey Ming, you got to face the camera. We can't hear you. I'm sorry.
Thank you very much. Sorry. So what I'm saying is that Taylor does KV Core on Thursday, so she can help you with that. Please follow her on Thursday because I think you're gonna get a lot of utilization out of it. And with KV Core, it is all about nurturing your sphere of influence. Because I can tell you, it's easier for me to work with somebody that I know than try to cold call and second guess what they're trying to say to me. Okay, because with our job, we're working with multiple facets of personality. And Lucky Kirk, he had like really interesting first two transactions, and it was just great out of nowhere. So, but when you work with someone you're familiar with, guess what? They're gonna refer you. And KV Core is gonna make you look like a rock star because it's gonna automatically drip your client. And remember, they'll remember you every time you get that email. It can be a recipe that you like. It can be something that's non-real estate. So it's not all about real estate sometimes. And just like some of y'all follow us on our vacation, you can see Alan's personality and HR nightmare comes through. But you know, that's what you want to do with your client as well. You want to show them that you're a real person, that you do love your community and you want to invest in it. So please, I'm asking you guys because we want to see all of y'all successful in what you do. Because we didn't get into this business to be poor, right? Right. All right, cool. And also we're, you know, we have investors as an agent as well. So we want you guys to invest smartly and invest in your future because as Alan and I are aging right now, yes, you too, babe. We are thinking about what we need to do in the future. And that's a lot of question of a lot of real estate agent right now because we are 1099. We don't have that retirement check, the 401k and all that stuff. So plan it now, put the seeds in now so you can prosper in your mature life. That's all I got now. I did say that.
Let's try this here. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
So, hope you guys are doing really good. So let's, we're going to kind of, sorry to be showing you my backside, but I'm trying to get everything set up. So thank you very much for coming into the sales meeting. So we have a lot of, I got a lot of cool things I want to kind of share with you guys too. So my name is Alan Rich, I'm the managing broker. I want to talk about what we're seeing out there in the marketplace. I want to talk about where we're having pushback from our clients because you know right now, would you say our clients are optimistic or pessimistic? Very pessimistic. You know, like Americans in general right now are a little bit ornery. You know, it could be a lot of different things. If you look at the buyer sentiments, home buyer sentiments, seller sentiments, that kind of stuff. Everyone's a little bit negative, and so it's very easy to kind of get pulled into that trap too. The other thing that we got to be looking for is the news is not our friend. Okay, now I'm not doing the whole fake news thing because I'm not trying to. This isn't about political, but what we do have to be able to look at is what's happening. What are the news headlines out there, and how's that going to impact housing, and also what does that really mean for us, and what are we really seeing out there? Because on a lot of the news articles that you see, is there a glimmer of truth, or is there truth from a certain perspective? Yeah, there is. And so what I'd like to do is kind of walk you through some of these headlines that we're seeing, and then also give you the real deal about what does the data really show, what are we really looking at. So that when you know, because it's tough when you're like, oh, things are bad. Well, they're really not that bad, right? You know, kind of thing. And so I'd like to be able to talk about those, but be able to talk about those intelligently. So probably the first one, the one that we hear a lot right now is, you know, when is the housing market going to come crashing down? When is it 2008 all over again, right? And you know, like if you look at like one of the most Googled terms out there, is when will the housing market crash? We keep seeing that thing kind of come again and come again. Is it going to be 2008 all over again? Are we heading into 2008 right now? I don't think so. No, we aren't. We really, really aren't. I want you to see the things that we're talking about now. These next slides, I did share these on Real Estate Backstory on Monday, but I wanted to kind of talk about them again really quickly. Because first of all, when people say, well, this, what goes up must come down, right? We've all heard that.
Yeah.
So if you look at the trend line on property values in the United States over the past 50 years, what have property values done?
It just keeps steadily going up.
Well, it's steadily going up. And so are we on a peak side right now?
Looks like it.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
But guess what? If you, what happens when you average that all out? Where are we? Right where we need to be. Like this is not, it doesn't all of a sudden shift and turn, right? We run in that 3 to 5% average appreciation. So right around 4% property value appreciation is what we run long term. And so yes, have we been at a peak for the last couple of years? Yes.
Yes.
Are we going to be moving off to a more moderate market? Yes. But are we going down? No, we don't look at it. So first of all, don't think, don't take that whole, if it, what goes up must come down, because for 50 years it hasn't come down. You follow me? Now, how about new construction? Like we want new construction to be up. And people will say, well, why are we in a housing deficit? Why are there not enough houses? Well, you can see that for the last 14 years straight, we have not even met the median for the last 50 years. I mean, you can see that we are below our 50-year average for the last 4 years. Now, in those same time frame, how about this? Well, we have been building houses. What we've been doing? Making babies. Yeah, that's what we're doing, right? Yeah, that's it. So, so we're not making houses, we're making babies. And now these babies need houses. That's really where it comes. Now, what I want you to look at here is right now we have the millennial generation and even Gen Z right now. These are folks that are between 22 and 32 years old. 81% of our buyers are in this segment. Now, why is 32 a magical number? Anybody know?
Because you buy your houses at 33.
First time buyer age is 33. So the largest population group in the United States is all reaching first time home buyer age over the next 5 years.
Right.
We don't have enough houses. We haven't had enough houses. We have a deficit of around 4.5 million houses right now. We're not building enough to even hit our average. So just on simple supply versus demand, is this going down?
No.
Now, are we going to see some fluctuations? Absolutely. So I'm totally down with that. So how about this one? Are we heading for a market crash? What home sales data reveal? Right? No. Americans, do we read articles or do we read headlines?
A lot of people.
Oh, we love some headlines, don't we? Yeah, we do. Yeah, but we don't actually look at what that really means a lot of times, right? Because you can find things. So like this is the showing time index, and it shows showings are down 22% from May. Scary, right? I mean, 20% down, I mean, 22% in the South is how much the number of showings are down. So does that mean that suddenly we don't have any demand?
No, I think it's listings.
No. How about this? This is the Redfin Housing Demand Index. For the last, 5 years, where's demand now compared to 5 years ago?
Double.
Oh, yeah. We have huge housing demand. Now, what happened in March, April, and May? Little thing like interest rates have happened, right? And so that caused people to kind of step back, jump back a little bit.
Yeah.
But is demand still there?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Right. How about this one? Housing supply jumps 19%. Wow, that sounds like, man, all of a sudden houses are everywhere, right?
Isn't that kind of normal for summer anyway?
Well, I'm glad you said that kind of thing. So let's look at what the numbers really are. So first one, this is from from Realtor.com. This is from National Association of Realtors. And so you can see that our active listing counts are up 18.7% year over year. That is very true. So were they wrong in the headlines? No. So how about compared to, say, 2020 or 2019 or 2018? Like look at what the active listings that we had in the 4 years previous, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, are we anywhere near normal?
No.
No.
No. Now, And the other thing here is, and like we've been begging, like you've had buyers for the last 2 years. What have you been begging for?
Listings.
Inventory.
Right.
I don't have any houses. They're under contract right away. We finally get inventory, and all of a sudden, what do? Oh my gosh, the sky's falling, right? Kind of thing. So yes, we are seeing an uptick in inventory, and that's not a bad thing. We're heading into a more of a balanced market. That's not a bad thing, right? So, don't take, like again, is the headline right? Yes, but when you take it into context and you look at, there was 1,300,000 listings in 2019, and there's only 620,000, so less than half of the listings that we had just a few years ago. So are we still? Yeah, this is good news, but this is not like, oh my gosh, look at how much inventory is. So this is from Georgia MLS, and so this is active listings this year versus last year. And so are we starting to see a trend moving up where we're having a few more listings this year than we had last year?
Yes.
Same thing we saw before. Is that bad? No. This is from FMLS, and it shows the exact same kind of thing. These are the number of listings we had in 2018, 2019, 2020, and look where we're at. So yeah, is it up from where it was? Sure. But should this be a reason of concern or a reason for gladness?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, exactly. So when folks are like, oh, I see inventory is really rising. Thank goodness, right? We needed that kind of thing. How about this one? Pending U.S. home sales decline as inventory rises. Right? So here's our pending listing counts. Are they down from last year? Yes, they are. What was last year in real estate?
Crazy.
It was a dumpster fire, right? I mean, as far as like you put a house on the market, we'd have 15 offers, people standing on the hood of their car, we had people taking their shirts off to try and get in the door. Wow. Look, these are the crazy things happening in our market, right? So pending listings are down. We haven't had a year and a half since after COVID, housing really erupted. Where are we compared to, say, by the way, 2017, 2018, 2019, all really good years in real estate. Where are we compared to those years?
Higher.
Oh, significantly higher, right? And we're also following normal trends. What? Why are you laughing at me? Okay. All right. So here's Georgia MLS. Again, this is our pending listings kind of thing. Are they down slightly? Yes, they are kind of thing. But if you look at this is FMLS for the entire thing. What does this look like to you? Does this look sort of seasonal?
Mm-hmm.
We're seeing a lot of the same things here. Yeah. So here's another good one. Housing market, a glimmer of hope for buyers as inventory rises, right? So how about the inventory of newly listed homes that we have coming on the market? Does that look astronomically high to you? We're right.
Color are we? Oh, yellow.
Yeah, we're yellow. And so if you look on here, like again, this is not astronomically high. Follow me? And so here's the number of new listings this year versus last year. Do we have more? Yes. Both Georgia and MLS, we see that we have more new listings coming on. But again, this is not a negative. How fast your housing market is cooling amid the great deceleration. Right? How about this one? So what's our days on market? So if we're going through this great deceleration, our days on market should really be shooting up, right?
Right.
Days on market is 4 days lower. We're at the lowest days on market ever. So having inventory coming in, good thing. More people are able to buy, more houses to buy kind of thing. Are good houses still going?
Yes.
Absolutely. They really are. So here's total days on market. Where do you, this is from FMLS. Where do you see total days on market for us right now? I mean, just so you know, I'm pulling the data from both Georgia MLS and FMLS, as well as I like to look at what the national data shows us, but then I really want to know what's happening here in Atlanta, in our market. And so I'm sharing, looks like I'm sharing some of the same information. It's just because I want you to see it from Georgia MLS and FMLS. Like, I'm not here to make up numbers. And the last thing I want to do is blow smoke up your skirt. But we have to look at what's really going on, because when these headlines come out, these headlines scare our clients. And we need to really be able to understand, look, if a house is priced well in a good market, is it going to sell? Is it going to sell fast? Yeah. So home sellers are slashing prices and sudden halt to the pandemic boom. I know. I mean, it sounds really ominous, doesn't it? Slashing, right? So, what's happening to our list price? Our median list price. Median list prices are up, right? We know that pricing is up, there kind of thing. Metro, how about the metros with the biggest housing price cuts? We hear this one a lot. So, are we seeing an increase in the number of properties taking a price reduction?
Yes.
We absolutely are.
Yes.
And for those sellers who said, I'm going to throw it out here and I'm just going to make them pay what I say, what has happened to those sellers?
They get a surprise.
You know, like the days of like, I'm not going to fix my house up. I'm going to price it at whatever I think it's worth. And it doesn't matter what the market says.
Missed the boat.
Well, what has happened to those folks? You know, they're getting caught. So we're seeing where homes are still moving like remarkably fast. Or you're having to take a price reduction because you went out too high. So we're seeing that. So same thing we're seeing on FMLS. We're seeing more price reductions right now, but we're seeing it at the different price point tiers. Sales of existing home sales fell, right? And we've been talking about this for months now. So is our number of sales down this year versus last year? Yes, it is. And so this is from Georgia MLS. So we are closing less sales this year than last year, but not every single month. If you look, it's really only been last month. But would you say that trend is crazy off? No. Here's FMLS. Does that look down? No, I mean, when you look at the trend, it's on the higher end of the scale. New existing home sales fall for third straight month. Home prices slide. Okay. This is volume, right? Because do we get paid on the number of our transactions, or do we get paid by our volume? Well, no, you pay me by the transaction. But you know, so are the houses that we're selling this year worth more than they were last year? Yeah. So are we making more commissions on that? Yeah. Yeah. So at the end of the day, you know, we're seeing where it's coming out somewhere where we're kind of expecting transaction numbers to be down about 10% and transaction values to be up about 10%, which is basically a net wash for most agents. So again, same thing we saw on the Georgia MLS, same thing on FMLS. Volume of closed sales is up. So now let's look at, I want to start highlighting a few things here. So this is from Georgia MLS. And so median comparable sales price. What have you seen with the sales price moving forward? So this is, you know, 6 to 9 months ago, 3 to 6 months, and then the last 3 months. So are we still seeing prices increasing? Yes. How about days on the market? 6 for the last 9 months, okay? Comparable listing price. Really, really close. Median comparable listing days on market, still really high, that kind of stuff. Sale to list price ratio. 101%. 101%. So right now, as for all of Georgia MLS, 101%. The median concession for Georgia, you know, for all the properties in Georgia MLS is less than 1%. Is the median seller concession right now? So is this still, is our market shifting? A little bit, it is. I mean, but is it crashing down, right? That's what I want you to understand. this next slide actually shows us some really interesting information. What's happened to the total comparables under contract? What's happened to the price for the comparables under contract? The prices dropped. We went from 447, 455 down to $390,000. Now I want you to think about why that is. So what happens when the interest rates rise? What goes down? Your buyer's buying power, right? So, and on average, if you could, what is the average price or the average amount that the rise of interest rates is going to cost a lot of our buyers is somewhere between $40,000 and $60,000. We're seeing that play out right here in real time. So are the rising interest rates making an impact? Absolutely. We're seeing where different price levels, different price points are really impacting our market. We got to be ready for that. Anything under 300, what kind of market is anything under 300 right now? It's crazy, right? And it's going to continue to be crazy. So good properties priced properly under $300,000, it's going to be a huge seller's market. Now we are seeing inventory starting to tick up in secondary home markets, and that kind of thing. The different price tiers, we're seeing more inventory showing up over $500,000. Especially over $700,000, we're starting to see inventory tick up. And so the first thing we got to be ready for are those sellers who say, well, it's still a seller's market. It's going to be a seller's market depending on what your price point of your home is going to be, kind of thing. And so if you look down here, what is the price point of our average expired home now? Is it going up or going down? It's going up. So, we've kind of seen same thing. The average withdrawn property values are going up. So we're seeing where there's going to continue to be a lot of price pressure put on our homes, on the more value priced homes. Now, this is going to be very regional. Like a starter home in Sandy Springs, that's going to be $500,000, right? So it just kind of depends on where you're at. Right. But just generally speaking, overall for the whole market kind of thing, that's kind of what we're seeing. You got to kind of take it into context there for that. So I want to talk about the 7 deadly sins of our current real estate market, right? And I'm not trying to get all biblical on y'all right now, but I am going to preach a little bit. All right. So first one, right? Greed. Yeah. Now, is there any greed in the real estate industry? Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, that could almost be the driving force behind our real estate market, right? For a lot of folks. And so I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying it is. All right. So what does that mean? How do we fight that? So for our buyers, yes, this is a shifting market, right? Do the sellers still hold a lot of cards? Yes. Yes. So when you read, think back to some of those headlines. We're having buyers come in like, hey, I need a list of foreclosures. Yeah. Hey, can we offer $20,000 under asking on a $200,000 house? That kind of thing. So our fire sales are really rare here, kind of thing. There may be a few bargains here and there, but they're going to be far and few between. So buyers can't get too antsy. Now, same thing for our sellers. Can they just shove put a big price tag out there, shove their head in the sand? No. Condition, location, and comparables. All right. Yeah, but we upgraded our bathroom. Don't care. Location, condition, comparables. That's what we have here, kind of thing. And so it's going to be about what a buyer's willing to pay, what the market can bear. Right. So the days of just shoving it out there, we're seeing that already play out on the number of price reductions, right? You got 2 weeks to get a full price offer. If you look at the data, the numbers, if you don't have a full price offer in 2 weeks, you're not getting a full price offer. Bottom line it. So how about sloth, right? So for our buyers, this is still a competitive market. Mink's favorite saying, and I love it, if you sleep on it, you will not sleep in it. Okay. So like if you're looking at a house under $300,000 and you're in the buying market, can you just we're just going to wait around? No. Homes are, what's our days on market right now? Lowest ever. even with everything else going on. So do we have to be built for speed? Yes. For our sellers, okay, don't be lazy. You gotta put some elbow grease into this thing, okay? I need the house cleaned. It has to be done right. It has to look good. Condition is really going to affect the sales price of the home, kind of thing. Buyers are not paying top dollar for dirty, poorly maintained homes, right?
Absolutely.
So, envy. Yeah, these are good ones here. All right, so price envy is one of the ones that we have for our buyers right now, right? Because they all, how many of y'all were, like a couple of years ago when folks are like, I just don't know if I should buy right now. The housing market's going to crash. Are you hearing that right now?
Yeah.
But now the buyers are like, I wish I had bought a year ago. I wish I had bought 6 months ago. I wish I had bought yesterday, kind of thing. So like this whole price envy thing. And so one of the biggies here is you guys have looked at all the same data with me. Are we really looking at prices dropping?
No.
So no, I mean, I see it. I do see it leveling off. I don't see it dropping. And so, just because, this price envy also goes with interest rates, right? We have so many buyers lamenting when we were like, lock in your rates, buy now. I don't know if I should. I don't know if I want to. Da, 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 da. And now the interest rates are what, 5.3, 5.2 right this week.
Yeah.
So
0.125.
Yeah. So now they're in the low 5s. They were in the high 2s, kind of thing. And so it's very easy for our buyers to be envious of that. And so our approach is, look, this is where we're at, and this is where the market is. One of the things that I want you to definitely talk to especially to your buyers about, is they have to be in the game, right? How is wealth in the United States come by? Home ownership. Home ownership is where wealth comes from. So for our sellers, envy with our sellers is like, well, the Smiths sold in 3 days, over asking, that kind of stuff, and a lot of times it's about beating Mr. and Mrs. Smith, we need them to understand what really is in the market for here. Well, when it comes to envy, really communicating what's happening in the market for both our buyers and sellers is really, really crucial. Pride, all right? Now, we are here to coach, guide, advise. So with our buyers, what do I need you to do? Listen to your stinking agent. That's what I really need you to do. We want them but we need that to come across, kind of thing. A lot of times, especially for buyers, we hear this, well, it should be this way. Well, Buttercup, it's not that way, okay? And this is how it really is. We need to be able to communicate with them, and we have to also explain what's going on. Because if you don't, who do they blame? Us, kind of thing. And for our sellers, a lot of times they'll think, my house is perfect.
It's perfect.
Right? Like, look, everybody loves purple walls. You all know that. Right? Well, I mean, look, I've been told that. Purple's the most popular color. Everyone loves it. What? Right? And I was like, so any upgrades they do, pools, bold colors, really weird spaces, nobody's paying for that. We need to be able to communicate that with them, kind of thing. You did those things to your home for you, not to sell it. You're not a flipper. You didn't do these things so you could flip this house for a profit. You did those so you could enjoy it. We've had sellers with that. Well, but I have in-floor heating. You're in Georgia, fool. We don't. I need in-floor air conditioning. That's what I need. I understand you're proud of your house, but really here I need them to listen to us, and we want that to kind of come across. Gluttony on my buyer side, right? Throwing 12 offers, blind offers at property is a waste of everybody's time.
Everybody.
Okay? So all this, like I just, or doing the whole thing, let's go look at 50 or 60 houses and then we'll start putting in offers. No, okay, I'm not a tour guide, first of all. And that's not how the buying process works, kind of thing. So, let's not go down that blind offer path. On the sellers for gluttony kind of thing, like what, we only have 5 offers? I mean, we're seeing that, right? We've had a client who's like, there's 14 offers in. All right, well, let's wait a few more days and see how many more we get. What? I mean, like, we got 14 offers in, right? We don't well, we really need 20 to be able to make a decision. No, we don't. Okay, there's no need for doing that. It puts the buyers and the buyers' agents, it frustrates them. It's just a really bad process all the way around. We don't want to get, I mean, we've seen offers come in, or we've seen like 20, 30 offers going on a property. Think about how much of a waste of time and effort and energy, how many buyers went through and fell in love with that house and can't get it, all the time that the agents took to find and go show those properties. Wow. So no, we don't need 17 offers, Karen. So wrath, I'm sorry. Wrath, right? Anytime that we mix anger into a real estate transaction, it doesn't turn out well for the parties involved, ever, kind of thing. You know, when we have buyers or sellers lash out, it just leads down to a pretty dark path that doesn't work out well for anybody. You know, sometimes for buyers, a lot of times our buyers, you know, it's been a seller's market, right? And so do a lot of our buyers feel fairness in some of the transactions? No. And so we understand what it is. Some of it's going to be, this is, you know, like you've seen what's out on the market. You see what we can do here, and they're not going to give on that. So a lot of times it's just going to be about talking about it. We can also ask your sellers, ask the listing agents why on certain things. Because sometimes, you know, like it's just, sometimes we just don't understand. For both buyers and sellers, being asked why is a really big deal. Same thing with our sellers. We see more sellers that get bent out of shape. Like, why are they asking for this? Why are they asking for that? You know, like, well, the roof's never leaked for me, kind of thing. I've been here 20 years. Well, it's the same roof that's been here 20 years, right? So it just hasn't started leaking on you yet. So a lot of our sellers get that very indignant, like, how dare they, kind of thing. And so we need to keep all parties calm and open-minded and listening. Right. Again, ask why on so many things. Most of the time when you understand the other party's intentions and needs, it helps things kind of go along. So lust. I know it sounds weird, we talk about lust in a real estate transaction, but what happens when your buyers walk into a house and they have fallen in love with it? Well, I mean, I can't tell you how many times that happens. Then come find out, like that pre-approval that you got wasn't even worth the 2 cents of paper it was written on, right? Kind of thing. So, you know, making sure our financing is ordered, is well done. We're pre-qualified. You know, sometimes folks will be lusting forward towards the, you know, lusting for those lower interest rates, that kind of thing. I mean, I think that they're going to be staying somewhere right around the 5s is really where I see interest rates kind of going. So it is where it is. Lusting after those things isn't going to do any good. We also need you not to fall in love with a house when you walk in, because it ain't done until we get through closing. So on my sellers, you got to keep your sellers, especially because if you're a seller, what do you have to be beforehand before you sell? You're going to be a buyer. And so And we've seen time and time again, unfortunately, where a seller falls in love with that new home, but what haven't they prepared yet? Yeah. They haven't prepared their own home. Now all of a sudden they got to go out and they got to put that house on the market. And so now, because they didn't do that, they're lusting for that new home. They're not ready for it. We can use ribbon now. I know that we just threw that one out there at y'all, but the bottom line is we see where folks a lot of times will just try and unload a property just to get to the next one because they're lusting after it. So that was the end of my 7 deadly sins of real estate. I appreciate you very, very much, and I thank you for coming in today. You know, if anybody wants copies of the slides, you can have the slides. I always send them out to anybody who wants them, that kind of stuff. Just let your branch managers know. I'll send it to all of them. And so if Ming or I can be of any kind, or any of us can be of any kind of service, please let us know. So now I just want to kind of go ahead and recognize our award winners here. So here we go. That is for everybody. So.